learn. And I think the next time, if say for instance he does go low or he does like run a guy over, well then that's going to put them back at thinking, oh shoot, is he going to jump or is he going to run me over? But no, I'm with you. I think until he starts doing something different, they're just going to be like, I'm not going to let you jump over me and get put on a poster or a sticker that I have on my door.
Uh, but it is nice that like looking at the stats, like Josh only had 3 carries in the game,
Yes.
and like my recollection, minimum one of them was the quarterback sneak push on a either fourth or third and one to get it, and that's like those are expected out of quarterbacks nowadays, really.
There's two of them, right? Or was it just the
Yeah,
one?
I just only remember one for sure. There probably
Yeah.
was a second, so
Yeah.
that was nice. And redemption, aside from Josh, we have been very vocal in our criticism of Spencer Brown.
Mhm.
So I think it's only fair that one of his better games in a long time, we acknowledge some redemption for him.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did get a lot of help, but
It's Max
as they
Crosby.
point out in the game, yeah, and you can't chip on every play in the NFL. So he more than held his own against Crosby. So props to Spencer Brown for he kind of redeeming himself from a pretty poor game against the Jets.
Yep. And I think, yeah, no, 100%. And then I don't think this is more of a redemption other than a finally, in that, Cook was finally able to cook and he had a very efficient day. What, like a 6.5-ish yards per carry. Like he looked really good, explosive, the line block for him. And I feel like this is one of our first like complete team wins where the defense played great, special teams didn't give up anything big, the offense was efficient, pass game, run game. Like this is as complete of a game as I can recall.
Yeah, it was all over. 183 rush yards, 267 passing when you take away sack yards.
Hmm.
The defense, I mean, and it seems like every year, like the first drive, we always like
Yeah,
we just struggle. But then,
we settle in and
yeah, and after that, we beat them 38-3.
which could have easily
So
been
very,
45-3.
oh yeah, and like you said, a very convincing team win. Special teams played well.
Yeah, Bass didn't miss
Had a
any
nice return.
kicks.
Yeah, nice return from Damian Harris on a kickoff,
Hmm.
and then the defensive line the first 2 weeks.
Really good.
Yeah, and if you just take away like what one explosive run by Brees Hall, like the defensive line has owned the first 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, our rush defense has been. I mean, right? I mean, held Jacobs to negative yards. That
Mm-hmm.
in and of itself is pretty impressive, I think. Although I did have
Yeah, the
him
one run
in
they had was that
fantasy.
end around.
Yeah, yeah, to that receiver or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but although, I mean, granted, yeah, I have no complaints with the offensive or with the defensive line. It'd be nice if they could start getting home a little more.
Yeah, I mean,
Cause,
no sacks
but a lot of
against the
hurries
Raiders.
though.
Lots of hurries. I mean, the first interception because of D line pressure forcing Garoppolo to throw it
AJ, right?
before he wanted to. Yeah, AJ had the second one. The Russo's the one who batted the ball that Bernard picked off.
Mm-hmm. Go Baylor.
I definitely hear a cat.
Yeah, it's my cat. She wants to get play, but
That's a very loud cat.
I know. She's a playful cat. This is her way of begging. She plays fetch. Like literally, she has this little toy that she'll drop at your feet. You throw it, she brings it back and forth we go. But I'm ignoring her. Sorry, kitty.
She's a good
Who's a kitty?
dog. But yeah, another like other things from the game that kind of stuck out to me. You mentioned Cook. Like if we could get like he had 21 total touches
Mm-hmm.
for over 150 total yards.
Yep.
So if we can get him 20-25 a game, I think that's the sweet spot for him.
Yeah.
But
Now,
like the running backs overall, like
oh, they
just
played
they
really
all
well.
looked good.
Yep. And I'll say too about like Diggs. I mean, unlike because I think you saw it a little bit with AJ Brown where he wasn't getting the ball and he was a little frustrated. I can't say any more good things. Diggs, I can't say any more good things about him just because you could tell he just wants like truly he just wants to win, right? Like I
Hmm.
really believe that he does not care if he doesn't get a single catch. If we go out and crush somebody, and he's just taking double teams all day, I don't think he cares at all. Like he looks genuinely happy for Josh, for the other receivers, for all of that stuff. So, I'm really excited about this team. I really hope that we can keep it going. Not to, granted, we're not playing and not to look ahead to the, or look past the Commanders, but, it'll be interesting to see how this team performs, against what I think is probably a top five team in the NFL, in the Dolphins.
You know, and Diggs was perfect on his targets.
Yep,
He was targeted 7 times. He
7
caught seven
catches.
passes,
Yep.
and
Kincaid played
it
well.
felt.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Kincaid played well. Diggs, like you, I feel like Diggs, and they mentioned the broadcast, just seems like he's operating a level like he knows he can win a matchup pretty much every rep.
Hmm.
And then Gabe Davis, he didn't have any like he had that one explosive play down the sideline for 40, but he caught five for 52 otherwise.
Yeah.
So like he was doing more things than just being explosive, which is really if he can stack those type of games is huge.
Yep.
But like Knox used to it blows my mind. Knox had 3 catches for 10 yards.
And a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, like it feels like we're not really using the tight ends yet in terms of working the intermediate areas. So I feel like if the offense evolves, that's where it's going to be is Knox and Kincaid working more 10 to 12 yards down the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, Khalil had that nice grab, but yeah, Sherfield and Hardy. I mean, they looked great in training camp and whatnot, but they've essentially
Hmm.
been not used at all.
Yeah, and they seems like both weeks they try to force Hardy
Hmm.
early in the game, then they kind of just go away from it.
But I
I
think
don't think Sherfield has a catch yet.
no, me either. But I do believe that it's because we run 12 personnel so much now that you have,
Hmm.
Gabe, Diggs, Knox, Kincaid, and Cook. That's five. Your five offensive linemen, that's 10. And then Josh, there's your 11. So there really just isn't room on the field, frankly, to have
No.
all of these guys.
Then you factor Gilliam playing when he does,
Hmm.
so lots of
Yeah.
it there.
And I think honestly, probably, or in my opinion, anyways, because they said this, Knox is the better blocker, and so in a way, having them both out there, it's more than likely that, especially because we're playing Crosby, that Knox was likely used in line as either a chip guy or just a straight block. But again, I,
Hmm.
I think that's a real benefit in that he can go out and catch passes. He can stay in and block. Like he's one of those guys for which you just don't know. He's blocking, and then he leaks out, and he's a threat in the pass game. So I really, I mean, I couldn't feel any different today than I did this time last week in terms of the optimism of the team. This is what I had expected from us, and I don't know. I'm all right. I'm glad that we laid that egg and got it out of the way, and time for 15 more wins, and then the playoffs.
Yeah, and this week will be a good test because defensive line wise, the Commanders are right there with the Jets in terms of it
Yep.
being a strength
Mhm.
for them. So did the offense is this improvement going to be able to carry over against a pretty decent defense? I think there's winnable matchups if we can hold our own in the trenches.
Yep.
But I guess we can move forward unless you have anything else to add on the Bills
No,
game.
I was just again I it was nice going into class today and no one could say anything, and I just the students could tell because there was one girl who does not watch sports at all. She's like, must be the Bills one, huh? Like, shut your mouth, right? You don't know me, but also yes.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Commanders. We'll talk. you mentioned like the surprising teams. So start with the 2-0s.
Yeah. Why don't we just start in the AFC, then we can work to the NFC?
Yeah, Miami, I don't think is surprising.
No.
Um, Anybody who when Tua was healthy last year, they were a really good offense.
Mm-hmm.
The defense added a coordinator who, everywhere he's been, has been successful. So you imagine as they get used to his scheme, the defense will improve.
Yep.
So Miami is not a surprise to me. And if Tua, I think it's kind of surprising their point differential is only +9.
Yes, I saw that today. I was like, how in the world is that? But I guess they had a pretty close one against the Chargers.
Yeah, and New England, I mean, New England hung in there a long, like they were within a tying it at the end.
Yep.
So I mean, that gives us hope that we could pull something out. But yeah,
Yeah.
Miami's
But
not surprising.
I mean, looking at their schedule, one, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised that it was as close as it was in New England, but I guess it's Bills, so who knows. But if you look at their schedule, right, they have 2 wins. They play Denver, then us. So we'll just say that we win because we should. They have not an easy schedule, but it's just like, they play the Broncos next. They play the Giants, the Panthers, the Pats again, the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans, the Jet. I mean,
Hmm.
I really do think we're going to have to win 13 or 14 games to contend for the division, just because the Dolphins look really good and they just don't have a terribly hard schedule. Like they don't play the Bengals. They don't. Yeah,
And they already got the Chargers out of the way with the
yeah.
win.
All right,
Uh,
Baltimore 2-0.
uh,
I guess
I don't.
go ahead.
It's not really surprising to me. I mean, everyone figured they'd beat Houston week one.
Yeah,
Uh, and if you want to call what the beating the Bengals surprising, but Cincinnati, like the last 3 years, just stink early.
yeah. And now Burrow's hurt, and
Hmm. So it's not surprising in the sense that uh, Bengals stink early every year. Like you said, Burrow is not like even confirmed afterwards, like saying like he tweaked it again.
hmm
So like he wasn't at full strength. He didn't practice all preseason. So I don't think it's surprising. Uh, and how it stacks right now, I don't think this is as strong as a division as I thought going into the year.
no, not after watching these teams play a few weeks.
Yeah.
Although it's the same
So.
thing with ours too, right? The Jets
Hmm.
are not going to be good. The Pats aren't going to be. Yeah. Anyways, we have to make it about us. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It's not nearly as good as I would have thought.
And that is it for undefeated teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
Two.
I guess what the
Which I
NFC
mean
has.
speaks to the parity. Like we said
So.
going in, like how hard the AFC is going to be.
hmm
Like it's because I think it's all going to be grouped together and come down to 1 or 2 games.
Yep.
So Dallas, surprising to you or no?
No, I mean, and I guess I'll honestly lump Dallas and Philly together, um, just because one, who the Cowboys played, right? I mean, the Giants, who we both thought were overrated, and then a Aaron Rodgers-less Jets. Next, they play the Cardinals, and then the Pats. And so the Cowboys really won't be tested until Week 5 when I play the Niners. So no, I'm not surprised at
Mm-hmm.
all. And it's the same thing with Philly too. I mean, they you know, played closer than what I thought they would with those two teams. But I mean, they were the best team in the NFC last year, so I'm not surprised that I said I am surprised how dominant. I mean, I knew Micah Parsons was great, right? But he just seems
Mm-hmm.
unblockable this year, and he's his third year in. He's what, like 24, 25. I mean, this guy could be a problem for the league for the next 5 or 6 years. He looks so good, so fast, so explosive, and he's what makes me nervous about when we play them. Granted, it's a
Oh
while
yeah.
from now, but no, Dallas and Philly, I'm not surprised. Although, and I'll let you speak on the Commanders. This, I think, is a mirage.
Oh well, yeah. If you look who the Commanders have played, they edged the Cardinals, who I think was a pretty bad team,
hmm
and they were down 18 to the Broncos and somehow came back and won.
Yeah,
So I mean, props to them for not giving up. But we saw it with the Giants, who came back to beat the like. It's you can come back on teams that aren't so good,
Right.
and they have not played really great teams so far. So yeah, they are 100% a mirage.
Hmm.
On Dallas,
On Dancer.
um, yes, Christmas season. I think you have to factor in who they played. They played everyone. Oh, the Giants. Like you and I were on early, like pretty early in the offseason. Like the Giants are not that good of a team.
I know, but 40 nothing is still 40
It,
nothing,
it's
right?
it's it's something.
But
But then they
Dak
also,
sucked.
yeah, and then they played the Aaron Rodgerless Jets, who we saw what happened when you don't gift them four turnovers
Yes.
and a punt return touchdown. They get dominated. So Philly is not surprising to but they've looked not so great early.
Yeah, I would expect the point differential to be more than plus 11.
Hmm. But you have to imagine they will also, much like the Chiefs, they'll find their groove,
Hmm.
and they're doing what good teams would love to do. Like we don't have our A game, but we're 2-0.
Yep.
We'll take it.
Yep.
Then we go to another NFC division that has three undefeated teams.
So, which is insane. So I have one of my other students at work is a huge Bucks fan, and I could not tell you, like, for a division that's collectively 6-2, I still think it's one of the worst in football. Like, it is
It
nuts
is.
that both the Falcons and the Saints are 2-0. Like the Saints, I mean, gosh, they have a collective plus 4 point differential. I'll
Hmm.
just say, like, I think Falcons and Saints are mirages. I think it's only a matter of time. Unfortunately, I mean, hopefully, and of the two, I think the Falcons are the one that could keep it going. But I still, my gut tells me that it's just only a matter of time before the wheels come off. And granted, they'll probably be a 10-7 team, right? Maybe make a wild
Hmm.
card, but they're not as they're not a yeah a great team yet. And
No.
the same, I mean, Carr. Maybe just take time to get everything together. Maybe they're missing Alvin Kamara, and they'll be different when he gets back. But they have not looked good. I mean, against the Panthers, I did not
Hmm.
expect it to be so darn close the entire time. Now, Tampa Bay, and because you live close there, I'll let you talk about them. I feel differently about them.
No, I mean they have a team that's was built to win now with Brady, and they got a younger quarterback who, like, he has a swagger. And it looks seems like his teammates are responding to him in Baker
Hmm.
Mayfield.
Yeah,
So I mean, you were on this more than I was in terms of believing in who the Buccaneers could be this year.
yeah,
I mean, and yeah, again they beat the Bears, so let's just like calm down a little bit about that.
right.
But 2-0, the Falcons. I want to give props to Arthur Smith. Uh, the Packers are a pretty decent team, I think,
Hmm.
and they were able to beat them. And a large part of that was with Arthur Smith's just brass cojones. Like anybody who didn't watch the game, the
I did not.
Falcons were down two, um, and they had there's like a right around the 2 minute warning. I don't remember the exact time, but they had a fourth and a yard and a half with like within like a with a 40-yard field goal attempt. 99% of coaches there are going to kick the field goal. Arthur Smith decides to go for it, gets it, is able to run out more time, so then the Packers don't have really much time to work with on the offensive end.
Hmm.
So I mean, props to Arthur Smith for saying, all right, it's not like it's a tie game either. Like if you don't get it, you lose the game
Right. And
with
he
an
looks like a fool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So props to him for being like, all right, we're gonna play to win. I'm gonna believe my team can get a yard and a half, and then we're gonna run out more clock than kick the field goal. So props to that. The Saints, like you said, Carr has not looked great so far, and like, is this the continued trend of veteran quarterbacks just not doing well in their new spot?
Hmm.
We'll see. And then the Bucks.
Yeah.
Selfishly, like if the Bucks are good, that's fun for where I live. Just because there are Bucks fans that are kind of like they go away when they're not so great. Like
Yeah.
they were all over Brady, and then they've been very quiet all off season. Now they're starting to come back out of the woodwork a little bit,
Oh, we're 2-0. Oh gosh, I better wipe the cobwebs off and
right?
yeah.
Then the last one is San Francisco. I think this will be pretty quick. Not surprising.
Mm-mm.
Uh, the main question going into the season was like, would Purdy be able to, like with his injury, like would he be able to pick up where he left off? It seems like he has.
Yeah.
Their offense has so many weapons.
Yeah.
Like they are just one of the top two or three complete teams
You know,
in the NFL.
when I think about it, this team reminds me. Remember how Pittsburgh was really good early on in Big Ben's career because they surrounded him with a great defense. He had
Mm-hmm.
playmakers, and then he eventually was allowed to evolve and adapt and become a good quarterback. It sort of feels the same thing with like Purdy, where he has so many weapons around him between Ayuk and Kittle, and Debo and McCaffrey. He has a
Yeah.
great defense and in front of him. And so, if they can sort of allow him to develop for the next 3 or 4 years, once these guys start to fade away, McCaffrey will almost certainly be gone, that it'll give him time to develop and learn all the things that he needs to learn. Because, yeah, I mean, they really are one of the complete teams. I mean, I will say this about, one of the one-on-one teams. I think the Rams are better than what a lot of people thought they were. They
Yes.
played the Niners tough. They walloped the Seahawks, who then went on to beat the Lions, for which my NFC Super Bowl pick. And so, yeah, I think the Rams are going to be a better squad than what a lot of people think, or at least, and by a lot of people, I mean you and I.
No, I think. Well, I think you're correct when you say a lot of people. Like they were right there with the Cardinals. Of people saying, "Oh, they'll be there for the top pick in the draft."
Hmm.
Uh, you love stories like I don't know how to pronounce the name Nakua,
Oh yeah,
whatever his
the
name is, the
that
most
receiver.
receptions in the first two games ever.
Yeah, right. Because he
So
was a fifth round pick out of BYU, Puka Nakua. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
didn't
I mean,
know that though.
yeah, 25 catches in his first two games.
Yeah,
So imagine if he continues to do that. Cooper Cup comes back healthy.
yeah.
Tutu Atwell is finally like showing a little bit.
And Stafford's
So
still
like
himself.
yeah, so like an offense that everyone presumed would be kind of like bare bones without Cooper Cup. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they could surprise people. And the NFC is weak. There's no reason they can't be there for a wild card.
yeah.
So that's our 2-0, like surprise or not. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Teams that are winless heading into week three.
All right.
We'll go snake draft style. We'll start with the NFC, working our way back up.
All right. Well, I guess it leaves us with the Cardinals, and this
Mm,
can be quick. Not surprised at all. I mean, the only thing I'm surprised
yeah.
at is that they were actually winning a game at some point, but then they lost. So, for which I mean, I'm certain this isn't how it works, but as the Giants started to come back, I was like, it's probably somebody, phoning in
Mm.
the coach, be like, you had better stop this. You had better stop winning. We want Caleb Williams.
Yeah, the owner
um,
called down like, yeah,
yeah.
stop it.
I will pay you 10 million to just throw this game. But yeah, no, I mean Arizona, we can just be done. I am not surprised at all,
No,
unless you
we
are.
both. No, we both thought they'd suck.
Yeah.
Uh,
Panthers. Again, I'll
not
say that I'm not surprised at all. I'll say I'm more surprised that they kept it, and I don't know if this speaks to the Panthers or speaks to the Saints, but I'm surprised that it was as close as it was against the Saints. And you and I both said it. It's just because the Panthers did Bryce Young no favors. They got rid of McCaffrey, they got rid of DJ Moore, they got rid of all their first round picks,
mm-hmm.
and for what? Like if I'm Bryce Young, I'm like, dang, this is how I start my career with no weapons, and you don't even have
Mm-hmm.
any draft capital to get me anything in the future. Like this stinks, and
Yeah.
so they're really gonna have to hit in free agency and in later round picks because yeah, Bryce is getting hit, and
Mm-hmm.
he's not a big dude. So
No, he's so small.
yeah, he just looks tiny, right?
Yeah, like that was the first game. Like I didn't. watched him week one. I had it on like a small TV with split among four different channels. So last night was the first time I like. He looked so tiny.
Yeah.
He's not gonna withhold a beating.
Mm-mm. I just, and
Yeah,
again, it's so early. I just think David Carr, and he's not even nearly as
yeah,
big, but if he keeps getting munched and gets hurt
yeah.
in that
He'll get
internal
shell
clock,
shocked.
yeah,
NFC NFC North. Quickly, the Bears. Not surprising to either of us. We both know how terrible Justin Fields is, and even like Cowherd today on a show was like, Fields has gotten worse.
yeah,
They got him the weapons, so there's no like argument of like, oh, they don't have anybody. They got weapons on that team.
it's third year.
Yeah, like
It's like
it's closing in on time for them to move on from him.
yeah. And if I'm the owner, I'm dumping the GM and coach too, because you just had the number one overall pick, and you gave it all away. Now the
Hmm.
only thing that would save them is if they finish, 0 and 17, and they still get
Yeah,
Caleb Williams, and all right, and they have the Panthers, which the Panthers suck too. That's like the only saving
yeah,
grace. But no, I mean it's like some of those plays were just so wide open. Again, we're not surprised, and ultimately I do feel bad for him because what he's a 24
yeah,
year old kid, and so it just sort of sucks. And I can only imagine the pressure that, oh shoot, now I have real expectations. So it does stink for him that he's playing so poorly. But as you said, it does not surprise us one bit. The
yeah.
Vikings,
And
however, sorry, go ahead.
but I did before you moved on to the Vikings. Like Fields just what was he good at last year?
Running.
And it seems like he's not really like he had 4 rushes for 3 yards in like a close game.
Hmm.
So like it seems like did they like is he so worried about passing that he doesn't do what he's best at now?
Or teams are just forcing him, like, you know what, we dare you.
Yeah.
We dare you.
But yeah, the Vikings like you're heading to. I'm not surprised. We both thought they're overrated. I thought they'd lose to the Eagles,
Yeah.
and then I mean you predicted the Bucks beating them in week one.
Yep.
That's the only thing that I was a little surprised would be like, oh, they lost to the Bucks, but
Yeah.
you weren't.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I'm surprised that they're 0 and 2, just because like they are a good team. They have a good offense. It's just more. It feels like last year, except for all those close games that they won, they're
Hmm.
losing them now.
Hmm.
Because for, I mean, let's just be real. They should have beaten Philly. If JJ doesn't
Yeah.
have that touchback, if a lot of they had 3 fumbles, if those, essentially, yeah, it was like us. Like they have turnovers lost them that game, as turnovers tend to do. So I mean, that's why I'm a little surprised. But ultimately, yeah, it was like last year. They won like 13 games or whatever with like a negative point differential. Um, it's just like this year, okay, the bill has come due, the universe has corrected itself, and you're going to lose a whole lot of close games.
Yep. I'm with you. So AFC West. Broncos, not surprising. We both thought Wilson was and is cooked,
Yes.
playing on the let Russ cook thing.
Which is so crazy, right? I think like 2 years ago when he's throwing
Hmm.
rainbow, or even 3 years ago when he was like in the MVP conversation for like the first like half of the year, and then look at him now. He couldn't. Yeah, it
Hmm.
is wild and how fast things turn in the NFL.
Yeah,
Josh,
and it
take
just
note. Don't ever leave.
and it makes what Brady just was able to hold on to for such a long time that he just didn't hit that
Hmm.
wall.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste time on Denver. I think they're a bad team, and but the Chargers,
they're my first
if
like
you just
true surprise. Yeah,
yeah, if you look at the offense has not turned the ball over. They're averaging almost 30 points a game, and they're 0 and 2.
yeah. How is that
It just
defense so bad?
I don't know.
That is a complete enigma to me. How is that defense so bad? I mean, granted, I think we both thought that J.C. Jackson was good, but not great. I
Hmm.
don't know, and we keep, or I anyways keep bringing. They have 4 like super high paid, like I say, superstars on that defense, and they can't do anything.
Mm-mm.
Like you talk about a fire sale and people looking to go and make trades at the trade deadline. If they don't figure it out, I can see Khalil Mack getting dealt. I can see Joey Bosa getting dealt. I mean, they need a lot of help. Oh boy.
Yeah, and if you want to start looking at who's the first coach to be fired,
Right? Yeah.
he's got to be very close. Like I would, if they lose again this week, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone.
Yeah. And yeah,
Like
just go ahead.
what has he done all 3 years? He blew a game against the Raiders to get him into the playoffs his first year.
Hmm.
They blow a historic wild card playoff game to the Jaguars,
Yeah.
and they start the year off choking away 2 games they easily could have won. It is like imagine being a Chargers fan over the last 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just
No.
like are so snake bitten.
Yeah. No. I mean, I would dare to say I'd rather be a Bills fan and suck for like 20 years and just know that you're not going to be good versus the Chargers and having like maybe this will be us for the next decade of every year thinking you're going to be good and then just something happens and you're not.
No. So yeah, that I think we're both in agreement. Like that's the big surprise. There is
Yeah.
just if you would have told me, oh, they have lots of turnovers and stuff, and then okay, that's fine. But just what their offense is doing, what everyone thought they would do, and like you said, the defense has 4 legitimate star players that just can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
an NBA team that threw together superstars without any thought to how they work together.
But it's different because in the NFL, like it's just
Yeah,
I don't know. It should work because they played. This is like at the very least this is their second season together, all of them.
yeah. I mean, you see what one pass rusher like Parsons can do. They have Bosa and they have Khalil Mack.
Unless those
You know,
guys are just fall.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the Chargers if Bosa's already fallen off with his contract. Khalil Mack's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
The next 0-2 team, the Texans. Not surprising,
Yes. Not at
but I
all.
want to do shout out to C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, he looked
Uh,
decent.
yeah, he's averaging 313 yards a game through his first 2 games. No interceptions, a completion percentage just under 64%, 91.2 quarterback rating.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we talked about how bad Ohio State quarterback. It's a 2 game sample, but you also seen like the other end of what the quarterback play can be like with the rookies. So he's played pretty decently for the Texans. So that's like if you're a Texans fan, you at least have some hope right now of
Yeah.
okay, maybe we have our guy.
Yeah. And
I don't
that's
think so, but there's hope.
yeah. And that's honestly like with the fact that he doesn't really have that elite receiver. I think granted he has Woods, who I think is a great safety net
Hmm.
for him, but like he doesn't have that. Like they're a team for which if they don't win a lot of games and they have a top three pick, I mean, imagine getting him his buddy back. Um, that's what I would do
Oh
if I was Houston. Or actually, no, they gave their first round pick
yeah,
to,
they gave it up.
so he's not going there. But yeah, that would have been. Never mind. Ignore. Yeah, ignore that.
No, but they moved. They gave a lot up for Will Anderson. Like I think there'd be a lot of people who would take a king's ransom for a pick who maybe wouldn't want Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
I would sell a lot more of the farm to get him that legitimate weapon.
But I mean, unless Harrison gets hurt, he's going to be a top five
Yeah, he
pick, and
will be.
without a first round pick in next year's draft, I mean, they'd have to give up, say, Will Anderson and
No.
next year's first. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But no, I'm with you. He's played better than I thought. I'll just say this: I didn't think he would be the quarterback who played the best out of all of the rookies.
No. And then we have the Bengals at 0-2. Um, I think it's surprising just because what they've like they made it to the AFC Championship and a Super Bowl the last 2 years. So
Yeah, no, and how bad Burrow has played. Like,
yeah,
unless the calf was hurting him the whole time, for which why would they trot him out there? But like, just the optics of it, of the fact that you're the highest paid quarterback, at least until Mahomes went and redid his deal. But like you're the highest paid quarterback, and you come out and throw for what 30 something yards or 80 yards that game against the Browns, and going into halftime, I think he had 30 something yards against the Ravens, right?
Yeah,
Like he did
he's at
not have
304 for the year.
right, but I'm just saying like in the first half of that Ravens game, he had under 50.
Hmm.
So it's just like he has played so poorly, and again for being the highest paid player in the NFL, it's just
Yeah, it's
yeah.
not the best optics.
I mean, and sure they start slow, but like that's no excuse. I mean, as you said, they are a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah,
But
57% completion for Burrow
which he's
right
an
now.
accurate dude, right? I mean,
Hmm.
so it's I'll just say it's got to be the calf. Like I can't believe he would just get that money and then just fall
Yeah,
apart.
no. 304 passing yards through 2 games. So he's averaging 152
Yeah.
a game. So, like at the like in the preseason when it happened, Jamar Chase is like, rest it up. We don't need you. We need you to be 100%.
Yes.
So you wonder if that would have been the smart move if it is indeed the calf and he re-aggravated it. So now his 100% heal rate is going to just take even longer.
Well, I mean, let's look at their schedule, right? They play the Rams, Titans, Arizona, Seattle. The Rams are going to be a tough game, but Titans,
Hmm.
Arizona, and Seahawks, I think, are winnable games. Because who's their backup? You know?
I honestly don't. I was just trying to look at that
All right, depth chart.
depth
They have
chart.
Jake Browning,
Yeah.
and so I mean, I think, yeah, give him a couple weeks to get rested up and fully healed, because then you play the Niners, us, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, KC, Cleveland.
Yeah.
You need
It's
him
more
at
important later on.
yeah, you need him for at full strength for all that.
Then our last 0-2 team is in the Bills division, New England.
Yeah,
I don't think it's surprising. I
no.
think it's more surprising how close the games have been against the Eagles and Dolphins for
You,
New England.
you know, I was gonna say that same thing, but they've been at home both of those games. And Bill, I mean, their defense is still solid, so I'm not super surprised that it was close. Now, they play Dallas in 2 weeks. Then us in a few. I don't know. I guess because this week coming up, they're at the Jets. But again, it's Zach Wilson led Jets, who I still think should go get Gardner Minshew. As Gardner looked dope against the um, when he came in for Anthony Richardson. Like
Yeah.
I would give up a second round pick for him. I think, yeah, it's just silly that he is a backup quarterback, in my opinion. But now,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
for the Colts, they're pretty happy to have him.
but like, are they really trying to go and make a push? Right? I mean, granted, the team leader is what is that
Richardson.
division? 1-1, right? So like they're one
Yeah.
and one, but it's just yeah, I don't know. Unless they really do think that they can make the playoffs this year, I would dare say it's probably better to get that that draft capital, because just give Minshew a chance. Again, I don't want the Jets to be good, but I'll just say this: if Josh got hurt, that is the dude I would want in a heartbeat.
And you mentioned draft capital of the coach Colts. Just a quick side note, like you would have the Browns over a barrel right now. Like trade for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
Like he would fit right in what they want to do. They need a running game because Watson still is
not there.
not it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
All
that
right.
is
So
a really good point. Although I don't think they will, just because I think they like Ford, and Ford's looked good. Like in the times he's
Ford,
spelled
good.
Chubb, Ford has looked really good. So
But I also think there's something to like Madison this year. Like he looked really good as Cook's backup, but now as the main guy, he hasn't looked as good.
yeah,
So like, is there something to like being a backup as opposed to the full time guy?
sure.
But yeah, Ford looked good, and I have a rookie card set of his, so I hope he continues to play well,
Hmm.
so we can sell it.
Well,
But yeah, first 2 weeks of the season, some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Um, Leading us into, I just mentioned cards. We had our third break on Sunday night. It took a little bit longer to fill than we thought between Saturday and Sunday, but it got done. And we pulled some really nice cards out of our break. You could see the full break on our YouTube channel, Sticks
Uh,
and Skins.
did you want to talk about the Thursday night game or no?
Oh yeah, sorry, Thursday night game.
I mean, we don't have to
Uh,
spend a lot of time. It's going to be, it's Giants at Niners. Niners are going to win 35-10.
oh, that's gonna be a bad game,
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. We don't have to spend a lot of
especially
time.
especially since Saquon is out.
Yeah. Although, because I think you had said that at halftime, Dable went and took over play calling, and the Giants' offense
Hmm.
looked better. So that's the only saving grace caveat, if you will, is the fact that if Dable starts to call plays and the Giants' offense becomes a lot less listless, which in a way is
Yeah,
sort of crazy how much of a difference that makes, because like our defense has looked a lot better with McDermott calling plays, I think.
oh yeah,
Um,
defensive line for sure.
yeah,
But
but I
yeah,
mean, yeah.
I,
So
Niners will win that easily.
yeah. All right. So back to the break. Okay.
Yeah, I mean we had our break filled Sunday, 5 boxes. The biggest and best card we pulled easily the out of 10
Oh yeah.
rookie patch auto of Jordan Addison.
In the Vikings uniform, right?
Yeah, he was actually in the
Yeah.
Vikings, so it must have been from like the rookie
Preseason.
premiere where they got those.
Yeah. No, that was sick.
So yeah,
Was that game worn?
I don't think so.
But no,
I
that was
think
a
it's one of
really
those like it was guaranteed to be worn and they take it off real quick jerseys.
right. Yeah. But no, yeah, you're right. That was a
But
really cool card.
now I know what you felt like when you opened the downtown. Like I was pretty nervous holding that.
Yeah.
Like oh god, don't drop this or mess it up or anything.
Yeah.
And I know you looked it up. Like what did you say the comps were?
Between 2 and 400.
Yeah, and he has played well. Like his
Yeah. No, I wouldn't sell that card.
ages. No, I would definitely hold it until like if he continues to play well.
Yeah.
A, I'd send it away for grading right now,
Mhm.
and B, if he continues his trajectory, you probably make 600-700 bucks off that.
Yeah. I mean, because at the very least, right, that card cost the person what, 30 bucks, twenty
Yeah,
five
it was
bucks.
very nice.
So I mean, even if he plays poorly, you can still flip it for 100, I bet, and get your money back.
Yep.
So, that was a
And
really
that's
cool
what I
card.
love about that was our first hobby box we've done, even though like it's so expensive to get them and it kind of makes what else you can get in the break not as great. The hobby boxes give you those guaranteed autos
Mhm.
and a chance at things like that. And like both the autos we pulled out were rookie patch autos. So it was definitely fun to open. We got a whole bunch of numbered cards out of that legacy box. Um,
Yeah. No. And
and
plus,
then
too,
I
I mean,
know
I don't
you're
know.
looking to hope you do yours here really soon.
Yep. Yeah. We'll do that after this. Got what, six spots sold. I can do that sheet. Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, Colts, Dolphins, Bucks. So yeah, we'll do that here in a little bit. See if we can get that thing sold tonight, or at least get a few spots sold.
Yeah, we'll keep whittling it away. But yeah, it's nice to have football back in full swing. We're starting to really see who people are,
They were what
uh,
I thought they were.
and we will not let them off the hook. Friday we'll be back on. We'll do a preview of this weekend's football games. Uh, at least on paper, a much better college football weekend too. So it'll be nice to talk a little bit about that.
Hey, how did we do on our picks from this past week?
I honestly don't even remember what the differences were, unless you remember.
Because there were four.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it back to even know what we differed on.
Because I know I picked Minnesota. That was the Thursday one that canceled out the other one from before, I think.
Yeah, there was four differences from
Um,
just the rest of the games.
yeah. I
I think
think
one of them was a
Baltimore and
one from Monday
Cincinnati.
night.
I think you picked Cincinnati and I picked Baltimore.
Yeah, like I would legit have to go back and watch
Yeah.
everything. I need to start like recording those things
I did pick
on my phone.
Indy over Houston. At the very least, I think we tied. But yeah, well, whatever.
No, yeah, you did pick Indy over Houston. I do, yeah, I do remember that.
And I picked New England over Miami, so I lost that one.
Yeah, but close
And
with it though.
yeah, and then I think actually I picked Cleveland over Pittsburgh. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we tied again.
And Cleveland should have won if their offense didn't absolutely crap the bed and give them 14 points.
Yeah, and give the other team 14 points as well.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett is like, ugh, his played so bad.
Yeah, broken. Come on, we got money invested in you, homie.
It's like the only thing he does well is throw to Pickens.
And even that one play was just sort of not say luck because it's skill, but like he was fortunate that he was able to squeeze through there and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that safety took a real terrible angle. Like he stood still. Like Pickens is running full speed at you, bro. Like you got to move a little bit because you know if you're caught flat-footed, you're not gonna be able to get him as he goes by.
Yep.
But we'll be back Friday night, late, presumably, uh, after our game sesh.
Boom, boom,
So
baby.
thank you everybody for stopping by, for watching us on YouTube. Check out the break if you want to see what we pulled. Hopefully we'll have another break here soon on our YouTube that you can see what happened. Follow us on our TikTok, SNS Card 607, Instagram SNS Card 607. For Corey Dungan, I am Lawrence Foster. We'll catch you all later,
Let's
and go
go.
Bills.
Go Bills. Go Gators. Go your mom.